Hello and welcome to the Passion Show Mind, a new series that we're starting where each episode, myself and my co-host Kiayah talk about psychology subjects, so it can cover mental health or different aspects of psychology.
We want it to be still conversational and lighthearted in places, but it'll obviously get a little bit heavier in some places because some of the topics are quite heavy, but we'll always try to include positives and ways that you can kind of help yourself and help others in that.
Goal of this is just help you and help people around you.
Yeah, exactly. So today we're going to start with body image. It's a topic that is close to your heart, definitely, and that everyone knows someone that it's affected, I would say, whether it's affected yourself in most cases or, someone close to you who's been affected by negative body image, that kind of thing.
I feel like everybody has their own personal insecurities and what they feel are their flaws, and that's been growing throughout their life. And they have a complex over.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think it kind of can start when you're really young, especially with bullying, that kind of thing.
Yeah, bullying's pretty bad for it.
Kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes they don't even know what they're doing. But
yeah, exactly. Everybody said something when they were kids that they regret. Everybody has, everybody's been bullied and everybody's been a bully. That doesn't usually get said.
Yeah.
People just think of bullies as the other.
Mm-hmm. Even bystanding, you're still not doing a good job really if you're just letting it happen or whatever. I know definitely everyone's done that at some point in their life.
Change yourself and just be aware from now on, just be more positive to people because everybody's human, everybody's the same.
I think if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it applies to body image completely.
Yeah, 100%.
There are times in life where I don't think that quite applies and, you can have a negative opinion about, I don't know, a film or something. Yeah. But when it comes to someone's body image, I don't understand why you would possibly want to say that to them, to be honest. I think it sticks with people for longer than you can imagine as well.
Yeah, because I feel it's strongest when you're in your teenage years. Mm-hmm. So as you're going through puberty, you get spotty, you're a lot more insecure, and if you get picked on during that stage, it's going to stick with you. Even after you outgrow them flaws.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're still going to be insecure about things that maybe you don't even need to be insecure about anymore, but that's just where, because something's stuck with you.
Yeah, that's where body dysmorphia comes in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because people can think that they've got those awful things that people have been telling them they have when they were 16, but actually by the time they're 28, it's completely gone or whatever, but they still think that it's...
Yeah, definitely. I've got a bit of an overbite, and when I was 14, 15, it looked a bit obvious. But now that I'm older, my face is grown more into it, but I still feel my teeth are massive, when in reality, they're probably not.
Yeah, exactly right. I think being more aware of what you're saying to people is the only way you can help it, really, because sometimes you don't even I'm sure some of your friends were just doing it in a banter way and that, which definitely is funny, but at the same time it does stick.
And I'm not innocent to that either. Everybody was taking mugshots of each other and stuff like that. It was just it was all playful, but it's all negative as well.
Yeah, I think something we haven't done yet is kind of explain what we think body image is. So something I wanted to sort of shed light on is that it's not just about fat or thin. It's about things like facial structure and, I don't know, people's teeth and
people's
hairline. Height. Things that you can't even change, which is just ridiculous. Imagine being bullied for something you literally can't do anything about. That's obviously going to stick with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, I'd say body image is anything on your whole body that...
Even if you can change it, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should. People doing their lips and stuff like that. Don't do that.
And it might offend some people here, but... It's kind of resulted in when I see pictures of slightly younger than us, the younger generation than us, they all look the same. Especially girls. When they go out when they're about 16, because that's what people do now. Because everyone's got false eyelashes on and everyone's had their lips done and everyone's had the hair bleached blonde and that, it takes the individuality away.
Definitely.
If they all want to look like that, that's fair enough to them and you can do whatever you want, but genuinely sometimes I struggle to recognise people that I used to know because I think oh, you've got too much makeup on, I can't see.
I feel definitely in terms of younger girls, it's normally the rich kids that started off and then the other girls see that and be oh, I want my nails done, I want my eyelashes done for my 12th birthday. So then
I had that experience definitely growing up. I've always said so you feel like you're in competition with girls, especially when you get to the age where you want the attention of boys. You feel like you're all competing for that attention, and most of the time you actually are. And I got to an age where I thought, like, if I had the money to buy, you know, the expensive jeans that you've got on and the expensive makeup that you've got on, I'd probably look as good as you, but I'm not going to because I haven't got that money. But that kind of helped me to accept, well, I'm just going to find someone who likes me for how I do look and the clothes I can afford then, and the clothes I want to wear, you know, that I'm, like, comfortable in and all that. Like,
that's more who you are than those other things, like, I don't know, like makeup or anything like that.
But you get so, like, swept into it, I think, don't you? Like, obviously you don't, like, blame those girls for doing that at all. If you've got the money, then yeah, cool, buy all the things you want, but it is so easy for the people in your year or the people younger than you to look up to those people and then want to do it.
And definitely in terms of, like, social media as well, like, those type of girls always get, like, 300 likes, but likes don't mean anything. Attractiveness is not an objective thing. What you find attractive is solely based on you and your personal preferences. Mm-hmm. There's no attractive person. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no one way to be. It's not, oh, you have a six-pack or you have big boobs and that makes you attractive.
Yeah.
It's not that at all.
But that idea that there is one sense of attractiveness is enforced by social media so much. I'd say that's become the biggest influence on body image. Instagram especially, when you scroll past the people who've got the most likes and they're all thin and I've got big boobs and all that.
These expensive dresses on and all goes
and
parties every Friday.
And false lashes and all of that. Like, they are the people who get the most likes. The most likes is seen as better, and you therefore grow up to think that, okay, well, that's how I need to look then.
But these people, they're not without their own insecurities as well.
Yeah.
To be like that, they've had stuff pushed onto them from, like, the media and stuff like that. But staying on the subject of social media, I feel like evolution in technology in terms of, like, filters and stuff like that, that's a horrible thing because that further perpetuates dysmorphia. It used to be about 2 years ago. It was a horrible thing that happened. Like, girls would, like, put emojis over their faces or, like, scribble out their face or put their hand over their face. But now it's, you put filters on and it makes your face look, like, much skinnier, but that's not you. Like, it's not you. You're not taking a picture of yourself. You're doing harm to yourself whenever you put a filter on a picture. You're changing your face. Like, if you're using spot removal tools or something like that, those spots, even though they're probably there for, like, a couple of weeks, they're still you.
It perpetualizes the idea that you're not enough yourself, you're not good enough yourself.
Yeah.
You have to put a filter over to get more likes and all of that.
You are good enough yourself.
Exactly, yeah. That's the message that we're trying to convey through this podcast, is that try to keep the makeup off for one day. Maybe try and go out without makeup on for one day. And for some people that could cause, like, really, really heightened anxiety because they're so used to having it on. But if you just take, like, baby steps and trying to become more you, then you'll eventually become more confident, hopefully.
I feel like makeup in itself is a big issue as well, because once you start, it negatively impacts your skin in itself, so it tries to trap you. And I feel like loads of things like that, so, like, shampoo gives you dandruff. Even, like, washing your face with things that isn't water, like, if you just wash your face with water, like, twice a day, then your skin's going to be better. You don't need all these products. Just look after yourself.
And, like, I've fallen into that trap for years. I went to Lush the other day and bought a new, like, facial moisturiser that I think's going to feel lovely on my face and all that. And so, you know, I sound hypocritical, but I know deep down that they just want my money and they're not actually helping me. But again, it's so easy to fall into the trap of, like, society. That means, like, well, if I buy that, I might be better. It all stems from, you need to believe you're good enough in the first place, because if you did, then you wouldn't be trying to be better with all those things. I mean, self-improvement is fine, of course, like, you know me, that's all I ever want to do, but, like, I think it has to at least try to come from a place of self-confidence and love.
100%. And the avenues to do that are, I don't know, brushing your teeth twice a day, washing your face twice a day, buying nice clothes. And that doesn't necessarily mean expensive clothes, because I would argue more than anyone that you can get nice clothes from Primark.
Me too. I've lived in that shop for my whole life, and people have always said I dress nice, so yeah, that's definitely a good point. Coming back to the social media thing, one thing I know we're both quite passionate about is the Kardashians.
Yeah, it's not usually them as a person. I get, like, really wound up about them, but it's just what they represent. Like, there's so many celebrities like that, and it's so negative and terrifying and horrible, because if you just give enough thought to, like, how many insecurities, eating disorders, anxieties that they've caused that have led to deaths, that have led to people madly impacting their lives, even through just like not even watching them like being engaged, just being aware of it, and then just comparing themselves in one moment and then overthinking. And yeah.
Like, I want to put it out there that I respect many, many celebrities and the Kardashians in some ways. There are parts of all of their personalities that I do have respect for, and, you know, I used to watch them when I was 12 and all that, and thankfully I didn't get affected by it, but I think that they should be aware that and have more responsibility in how many people are affected by it. Like, we were talking about the picture of Kim Kardashian
where she doesn't look like a human. Like,
I think it was the Met Gala, wasn't it? And she genuinely, like I said when I saw her, she looks like an alien. Like, it's
horrible. It's really, really scary, and this is being promoted as beauty, and it's not. That's not what you should look like. You should look like you. Like, you shouldn't have to pay like thousands on fake tits, fake ass.
That's the other thing, is that then it becomes about money as well, doesn't it? Like, again, it comes back round to having enough money for the good makeup and that. They've just got enough money for good surgery, which is ridiculous. Like, it's too far. And the thing is, like, Kim herself, again, if she wants to look like that, then I guess she should be able to. But one, I feel sad for her, because in my opinion, she was beautiful anyway, and now looks completely different, and I'm sad that she felt that she had to do that. But again, realise how much responsibility you've got with the millions of people who follow you. My little sister follows Kim Kardashian on Instagram, and she's 11, and it genuinely worries me, because I think I just don't want you growing 100%. Up with those ideals. Like,
and that goes back to social media as well, just like kids having phones and like engaging in that really toxic culture of, well, say photoshopping, airbrushing bodies and stuff like that.
I think they've got to realise that it causes real, like, genuine heavy things. Like, eating disorders are obviously a real problem in the world, and there are so many of them that people don't know about and that kind of thing. Like, I wish I could kind of go to Kim and be like, do you know what you're doing? And sort of thing, and tell her from a psychology point of view about all the eating disorders that are there and that. Like,
but I feel like she knows that, because you can't not be aware of that.
I think there's one thing having your body how you like it and portraying it to the world. There's another when you're, when
you have influence.
When you're literally advertising, the appetite suppressor lollipops and things like that. Yeah. Like, that's where it really crosses the line too much for me. Like,
that's disgusting. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah. I don't know which one of them it was. I just know it was one of the Kardashian girls.
Jesus.
Yeah, who were like, because they get paid for stuff like that, don't they? It was just one of the brands that they were advertising. But, like, that's where it's too far for me. Like, you can't, they're unnatural. You can't advertise them to everyone. Like, because there are times when they get used. Like, there are people who want to lose weight for health reasons, who would use stuff like that, or, like, have surgery and stuff. And yeah, that's why they exist. But if you're advertising them to everyone, then people like my 11-year-old sister might go and buy them. It's just not okay. Another thing that we've, like, both noticed is how body image is often represented in industries like acting and ballet, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
modelling.
I think that can be really negative as well.
Yeah, like, there was that Reggie H documentary that we watched about the modelling industry in Russia, and it was so heavy. Like, it was these 13-year-old kids, and they were like stripped of their own underwear, and they were all like told to stand in a line. There's about 50 of them, and about like a small percentage of them would get picked to like go to America. But even if they do like try, they'll be taken away from their parents and stuff like that. And like it was all about like, it was horrible. It was really dark. It was really
shocking to see. Like, I'm kind of thankful to Reggie Yates for going and making that, because I wasn't aware of it myself, and I do psychology. I live in the world where I am aware of like quite a lot of things like that, but even I didn't know how bad that was. Like, we watched one of the girls, she only ate some kind of like wheat dish, tea and water all day every day, because she had been told by modelling agencies that she needed to lose weight. And she was not disgusting. Big in any way. She was
that makes me feel so
quite
sick.
Thin already.
Yeah.
She'd been hospitalised before and was still trying to lose weight. And then she went to the, I don't know what they call it, like audition thing in the documentary, and didn't get in because she had to lose 1 centimetre off her waist. Like,
wow.
I don't even know what to say about like that. It's too far, obviously. And like, imagine the mental damage that those kids are going through. Like, it's crazy.
It's horrible. And like I remember seeing him like having the interviews with like the casting directors, and he was always stood with his hands behind his back, and it must have taken so much resistance not to just swat them in the face.
And not to cover the girls up as well. I kept thinking if I was there, I'd just want to hand them like jumpers and stuff and be like, oh, put some clothes on.
Like
because
the kids.
Exactly, because you're so young.
It's horrible.
But the thing is, that happens in so many other industries. Like, I know in ballet, you have to be a certain height and a certain weight to even get accepted into most companies. And as we said about height, like, you can't even change that. Like, I understand that that's what they're looking for and that's what they think makes a good ballerina or whatever, but again, it can be so mentally damaging for, like, why can someone who's just a little bit too small not live their dream and become what they want to be? And it's the same in, like, acting and stuff, isn't it? It's just, that doesn't portray, like, they're industries that are led by, like, professionals, etc., and they show us that even in the professional world, a certain body image is a good one, kind of thing. Like, it's another example of how you grow up thinking, okay, I need to look like that, otherwise I'm not good enough.
It's so different that it's a completely separate thing. Like, that's not the real world. That's not. It's a terrible representation of the real world.
Speaking of that, I actually wrote an essay as part of my degree this year about body image in the media, and the main point of it was cartoons that we grow up watching display unrealistic, like completely unrealistic ideals of body image for men and women. Like, they scaled the muscle on the men to the size of a normal human, and it's like actually unachievable. You couldn't look like that if you tried.
Wow.
And it's the same with the tiny waists of the women. Like, you'd be ill, you'd be hospitalized if you were that thin. And you watch that from when you're 3? Like, we're growing up thinking that is how you should look from such a young age. Like, that is gonna get into your head.
And you know what? Even like modern ones like Tangled and Frozen, like, they're all being held as like these progressive things, but they've still got tiny waists.
Like, they've started, you know, there are Disney princesses with different coloured skin and that kind of thing, which was seen as a progressive thing, it's good that has started to be incorporated, but I can't think of one that isn't thin.
They've still got tiny waists. It's ridiculous. It's not real.
Well, even Moana's not, like, she's muscly, but she's not.
But she's still skinny.
Like, I'd say it's heading in the right direction with Moana, and it's so nice to see. But again, like, she's not plus sized, is she? Like, she's not a representative of every other body image that there is. Which I'm not saying that Disney should have to represent every single one, but some variety would be preferable.
And then, like, even still, she's like put next to Maui, who is plus size. That like forced the completely false idea that she is, and she's not. She's still slimmer than average.
There are TV shows. Is it Russell T Davies who wrote Years and Years?
Yeah, it's Russell T Davies. My man Russell.
There are TV shows that are trying to highlight the danger of what's happening out there. Like the girl in that, I can't remember her name, but she's got a filter over her face constantly.
Yeah. It takes place in like 2023. And she just, so like, Snapchat filters have evolved to like be masks on your face that you can control with your phone and like not take off. So like, you have like dog filters on your face like constantly. People are just hiding behind it.
The hope is that things like that will shock people enough into like sort of scaring them into realising how dangerous those filters and things can be.
But normally the response to that is, I wish I had that.
I think we should try and turn it around to be a bit more positive now and talk about the ways that you can help your own body image and help each other and that kind of thing. So as I've already mentioned, for girls especially, trying to have one day a week, for example, where you leave the house without makeup, I think is a good start. Or even if you live with other people, leaving your room without makeup on could be a little start. Like, any baby step will sort of help. It's completely fine to want to enhance your features, but to live with it on means that you're not being you. And in my opinion, if you try to reduce it a little bit, you will start feeling more confident in yourself.
Don't perceive makeup as an avenue towards confidence.
Exactly.
It's not. You can find confidence in yourself without applying things that are not you onto your face.
By taking it away, you will eventually learn to love your own face. I can say that for a fact because I've done it.
I think another thing is to understand that you're human. Everyone else around you is human, and nobody's without flaws in terms of anything. Like, nobody's without flaws in terms of personality, nobody's without flaws in terms of appearance. Everybody has their own insecurities, but everybody's hung up on them things themselves to think about what you're concerned about. So maybe in teenage years, okay, people are bullied, but that's not forever. Like, once, like, it's horrible and it shouldn't happen, but once you grow up, everybody else around you grows up and it does stop. So don't assume that you need to be so hung up and so self-deprecating about things that don't matter. Like, it's like you're probably making like a mountain out of a molehill in terms of anything that you're insecure about.
I think you're really right with the point of, we were actually taught this in our psychology lectures, especially during the teenage years. You become obviously a lot more self-conscious. Your body's going through changes. You get more spots and that kind of thing. You become more self-aware, but so does everyone around you. So as you said, we're all pretty selfish. We're all thinking about ourselves. People, therefore, generally aren't worrying about the spot on your face because they're too worried about the one on themselves. And that's something we were actually told in our psychology lectures, that if you have kids, try and drill that into them when they turn like 11, because it can save years of worry. So if you're young and you're listening, please try and remember that people they're not worried about your face because they're too worried about their own.
Yeah, like, it might be a bit harsh to hear, but you're not the center of the universe, and everybody else thinks that they are, so they're not gonna pay as much attention to you as you think.
Another way of like sort of building your own self-confident body image would be to unfollow people like Kim Kardashian and stuff on Instagram and try and follow like body positive accounts. There are loads out there. I couldn't name any, but I do follow a few myself, and just imagine how many times you go on Instagram in a day. I think we could all admit that it's a lot, and subconsciously, whether you like it or not, if you're scrolling past constant images of thin idealized girls with loads of makeup on, bikinis, or boys, or muscly boys or whatever, it's going to get into your head. So really try and sort of be intentional about who you're following, and I think changing your subconscious is the way to start changing your consciousness as well.
Yeah, because even if you scroll past something and you're not even thinking about it, you're still consuming that into your head. You
control who you follow, and you control what kind of ideals are being plugged into your own head. So take control of it if you really, really want to change it for the better. Like eating and exercising well for your own like health and strength.
So eating well doesn't mean eat less. It just means eat differently. Same size portions, just different food. So like, I don't know, fruit instead of chocolate, but same amount of fruit as you would chocolate, and or something like that.
You can still eat chocolate every now and again,
like 2 or 3 chocolate bars a day. Like, it's not gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm. I know we both wanted to mention that like diet culture is a big negative in all of this. It goes along with the appetite suppressors that we were talking about before, the lollipops and stuff like that. Like, there's a big diet culture and a big fad about wanting to lose weight, and as I said before, like, there are people who are bigger that might want to for health reasons and stuff, but I personally believe that you should or can exercise and eat well, but to get stronger and be healthy, not to lose weight in every...
Have positive intent if you want that. Like, don't do it out of self-hate.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel that way, I'd say maybe talk to your friends, and then next step, go to doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to leave some links in the description for some mental health charities like the Samaritans and other charities concerning what we've discussed today. So like maybe Mind and things like that.
If you really like feel like you sort of can't get out of it yourself, if these tips that we're giving about body image and stuff sound way too sort of difficult or too far away in your head that you can't do them, you might need help from more professional people, and people like the Samaritans are there 24/7. It's free. I've done it myself. You can email them even. You don't even have to speak on the phone, because some people get anxious about that kind of thing. You can have an email conversation with a trained counsellor who will just begin to start kind of putting you in the right direction and start helping with whatever. And that's not just if you're struggling with body image, but with any sort of mental health issue as well.
And even still, like, have self-belief that you can improve yourself as well, like, personally. Like, you can make a change in yourself, personally.
And if anyone who knows me is listening, I'm always available to talk and listen. I'm doing a psychology degree for a reason, and I really have a strong desire to want to help people. If you feel like there's nowhere else to turn, just remember that I'm always an option. If you've got me on Facebook or something, you can always message if you need to.
So, in the words of Phil Kenyon, I think we'll wrap it up there. So, thank you, Kiayah, for being my co-host today.
Thank you. It's been fun.
Have a great day.